going to go back to Ottawa. So in 2017/2018, so lost my job at the environmental testing lab in Garson, Ontario, December 2017. Decided to move back to Ottawa in 2018, January, February 2018. I was like, you know what? Okay, this is gonna work. This is gonna work. It needs to change. I can probably get a job in Ottawa. I don't care what it is. I just need to do something. And so once I was back in Ottawa, I decided to start applying for a bunch of staffing agencies because I knew that they could get me a job quick, and there wasn't a whole lot of interview processing, and they would do much of the work and just kind of send me to the place and get me paid and get me going. That's what I thought. I started doing that. There were a lot of times where when I got there, they just didn't like something about me, or I just wasn't doing this job the way they wanted me to do it, or I just did something that they didn't like, so they would just call the agency and was like, yeah, they don't want you back tomorrow. And I just had to keep doing that again and again and again, and eventually in 6 months I had been through more than 12 jobs. And once that hit, I was just like, oh my gosh. Oh my freaking gosh. But after that, I actually had a pretty good stint at one job that was set up through an employment agency, working at a records depot on the other side of the city from me, and I would take an hour-and-a-half bus back and forth. My hours were from 1:30 to 10 o'clock, and I typically left my house at 11:30 because the bus schedule was such that I was either 15 minutes early or 10 minutes late. And that is what I had to do. And I would get home at 12 o'clock, crash, wake up at 9, have just enough time to get dressed, eat breakfast, watch a couple of shows on YouTube, or watch an episode of a TV show, just to kind of relax before I went off to work. And that is what I did for 6 months. And I had almost no social life except for weekends. It's just what I felt like I had to do, and that is what I did, and it kind of worked. And then I got a call back for a government job with CanMet, Canadian Mining, in Ottawa. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this. Of course I'm going to be a technologist with CanMet in Natural Resources Canada. This is my dream. Like, what the freaking hell? Yes, I want a $59K a year job because I'm currently working for $16 an hour. Of course I'm going to freaking take this. No, I don't care that this is a 4-month contract. Yes. So 2019, CanMet, Ottawa, Natural Resources, straight into EG4 technologist. But I don't know exactly what happened or how it happened, but as soon as I got there, they started slowly, progressively giving me fewer and fewer responsibilities and giving me less interesting tasks and involving me less and less in the research. And I didn't quite know what the heck was going on. And I guess they just didn't really like my performance or what I was doing. And there was one point in time where the other two staff were learning how to do something. And she was like, I'm going to lunch. And she had trained the other two research assistants, lab technicians. And she's like, I'm going to lunch. Emily, you watch them. And it's just like, excuse me? You just trained these guys who are EG2s. And you want me to try and learn from them? I do not have to explain myself. My mind still fucking boggles at this person and how she freaking treated me for just trying to ask some questions and trying to figure out, why am I doing this? And she's like, because this is your task. I can't freaking think properly about it. And so I started getting fewer and fewer responsibilities. And at one point, I'm just like, I put an email saying, I want to do this. I want to be a part of this project. I want to get trained on this. And she's like, kind of said, oh, I had no intention of training you on this or involving you in the project this way. In order to do this, I would have to go through all these steps. So you live across town from this lab, and you said you can't come all that early. And so what I took that as is, show up early, make it look like you care, and she'll train you. I show up earlier than she gets to the goddamn lab. I was freaking determined, task-oriented, and she's like, oh, you're here early today. And then I was in my lab coat, ready to go. She takes me over to this back room, and she's like, can you organize this storage area? There's a lot of crap in here that has been here for a while, and we're not sure what it is. And we need to reorganize some things so we can get some equipment in here. Dumbfounded as fuck. In fact, I really wanted to cry in front of her. I was ready to cry. And she's like, are you okay? Like, can you do this? And I was just like, sure. Because I remember being told before, don't question about it. When someone gives you a task, you are expected to do it. You can ask questions about how you do the task, but you're not going to ask questions about why you were given this task. Okay. And so after she left me with this task, I, for a few minutes, was like, And then I remember seeing her supervisor in the lab earlier that day, and I came to him freaking bawling my eyes out. And after talking to him about what I had just explained, I decided, yeah, I'm going to complete the task. I did it. And then I went back to the lab. And after that, I completed some other tasks that were through my normal tasks throughout the day. And yeah, that was fine. I thought so. Her supervisor had arranged for me to talk with him and another one of my supervisors the day after. And so we sat down, and that is when shit started hitting the fan. Things started happening, and you know what? Things just kind of got a little out of hand. And they said things like, maybe you are not being given the tasks you feel like you deserve, or you are being given tasks that you feel are demeaning or beneath you. He would tell me something, this is your task, this is what you have to do. And then I'm like, but you are continuously giving me lower grade tasks that push me away from the project, and so I'm not involved in any of the actual preparations of samples or actually doing the flotation work, and so I'm not going to get the experience that I deserve. I'm not going to move forward. May's going to come, and I'm not going to be anywhere better. And they kind of just shrugged that off, and they were like, sorry. And that's when it's just like, no, I can't freaking do this anymore. But they wanted me to be there. They wanted me to grow. I want you to grow and get the skills and be a better person. But you weren't really helping me. You weren't really working with me and working with me to actually give me the proper tools to do these things. And eventually I basically lost my temper with that person. And yeah, I was asked to leave, and today will be your last day working here at Kenmet. And I knew it was coming. In fact, the day before I said something like, because they said, if you can't do the task, this is what you were hired for. If you can't do it, then you can't do the job. And I'm like, you might as well terminate me right now, because this is not going to end if this keeps up. And they were like, no, I don't think so. I think we can work around this. And they gave me the line like, this is your job. This is what you signed up for. You didn't have to take the job. Yeah, I didn't have to take a $60,000 a year job with the government of Canada, work with at natural resource, EG4. I didn't have to take that job. Like, that is the most patronizing thing you can tell somebody at that point in their life. You didn't have to take this job.